Listen, you know what time it is. It's time for another episode of your favorite podcast entitled We Hate You, Internet! All right, gather around once again. It's time for another episode of, I said that already, right? This is We Hate You, Internet. It's a podcast designed to bring awareness on the problematic effects of the internet on our lives, as well as celebrate the beautiful simplicity of our humanity. I'm your host, Wilfred Hamilton, messing up. We back in this thing again, man. Like I said, we're gonna keep this content rolling, and indeed, that's what we're doing, man. As promised, you're welcome. As always, I just want to say thank you for all those who tuned in last week. And continuing our discussion about I hate the comment section. We talked about how relationships are indeed conditional. Information I think that's super important, especially in today's society. Just kind of address some of those things, try to dispel that notion. Well, this week we want to continue that discussion, continue on it along that same line. But I think this will probably be part 4 and the final part of our series for now. We're going to be talking about the comment section is not a real place, right? I made mention of that in the previous episodes already, but now we just want to kind of put the bow on top of the present. That will be for you. And just really drive this point home and help you understand a few things as far as how you need to approach the comment section from a psychological perspective. So we just want to start with this and just really point out and really help you understand that, when people make comments in the comment section, they are unfiltered, unvetted, and unrestricted. People can say whatever they want to say in the comment section, whether it's a bold-faced lie, purely fabricated, you know what I mean? And you may say to yourself, well, yeah, but you really have to understand, like, the reality of that statement, that people can, you reading the responses from people when you watch a video, whether it's something that's shocking, whether it's supposed to be funny, or everything in between. And an individual on the other side of the screen that's joining this discourse digitally can say whatever they want to say. They can make up a complete lie, But people are reading these comments and they're shaping their view of society based on these comments. And that's where the issue comes in, And so, you have to grasp the understanding that the comment section is not, or it does not have to be, a reflection of real life. It's not. And you have to take everything that you read with a grain of salt. People tell some outlandish stories. People, say things just to relate and find people to sympathize with them in the comment sections. They'll make up completely fabricated life stories and events that happen in their lives. So you, and all these things are possible. And how do you know whether it's true or not? You really don't. You know what I mean? And that's one of the points that we're trying to make, is that, you've got to take everything that you read with a grain of salt and take reality into account, how things really work in the world. You have to kind of keep that as a gauge for when you're reading. Sometimes in life, you may read a thing or hear a thing. You may say, I partially believe that, right? Which means that, and that's okay. What that means is that sounds like something that could be real, but I cannot verify that it's 100% real. And sometimes you need to have that in your back pocket when you're gauging things, and to say, hey, man, that sounds like that could be real. That sounds like something I've heard before, and that's something that's happened to me before, or something similar. So that's within the realm of possibility and reality that it can happen to a person, but I cannot verify that is true or not. You know what I mean? And that's the mindset you need to arm yourself with when you're navigating these, the wastelands that can be the comment section. So that's the first thing we want to kind of just really point out, is that, the comments that you're reading, you cannot verify if they're real or not. So you need to take them with a grain of salt. The second thing we want to address is that the comment section is filled with bot accounts and AI agents. AI agent just being, whoever created the AI, they are created with a specific task by the creator, and they operate with that motive in mind, I guess you could say, or with that programming. So it's an agent of the creator. That's AI agent. That's what the term goes. Anyway, that's a little technical term. But so when you're reading comments, you please understand and keep account of the fact that who the comment that you're reading may be artificial, like an artificial intelligence. It may be a bot that's designed to seek out these kinds of posts and to leave these kinds of comments. That's the basic side, right? And then you got AI that is being trained in the comment section. Please understand and hear what I'm saying. Like, you have major companies, Meta, X, everybody that own Google, all that own these major software companies. They are training AI in the comment section. They're studying how people leave comments, how people respond to certain words. All this kind of stuff is data being collected. We're in the data age. Please understand that your data information. We talked about this in a previous episode. How valuable data is in today's time. And they're using this data to craft a profile of every human being on the planet that's attached to the internet. You know what I mean? They watch and study what you like, what you don't like, the things that catch your attention, the words that catch your attention, the images that catch your attention, like how long you watch that stuff. You watch the social dilemma on Netflix. I think that's what it's called. You know what I mean? Like, and he goes into detail about these things. And now that was before AI really ramped up. Now with AI, it's studying cultures. It's studying how people communicate in various cultures, whether you black or whether you're white or European or African, whatever. It's studying how you communicate culturally, and it's mimicking these things and seeing how it can, if it can effectively communicate and pass as a human being. This is not sci-fi stuff. Like, they're not told tinfoil hat stuff. This is like real legitimate stuff. You know what I mean? And so you have to understand that, these things that, you may have an interaction with someone in the comment section. They may say something triggering, but this may not even be a real person. I look at posts a lot of times. Sometimes I'm looking at posts and they're racially charged. So it may be an individual that's making a post about Black history or some other cultural history. Or it may be, white history, which is, it covers a lot of stuff. But, and then it'll be a comment section that'll be racially charged. You know what I mean? That'll try to elicit a response. And when I read that, it's disheartening to me that, like, man, like, why would this person say this or be this ignorant? You know what I mean? Like, it causes this sense of like discouragement and then anger and these strong emotions that come out of you. You know what I mean? I try to make sure I stay even keeled on stuff like that. I don't let the potential ignorance of others to affect me. I wouldn't allow another to have that kind of power over me to control my emotions, how I feel and how I think. You know what I mean? Like, because you know what's right and wrong, what's good and bad, and if someone else has a bad perspective about something, that's their right as a human being to think and feel the way they want to feel. That's their bit, but they have to deal with the repercussions of those perceptions and mentalities, and that's for them to deal with. We talked about that in 2 episodes ago. In fact, the last 2 episodes we talked about how perception and mentality shape your reality, shape your world. You know what I mean? So, when I do read those comments, it must be another one of them, or it works both ways. And it can be Black people talking about white people, any other people talking about white people and being ugly for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, history is a very complex thing. You know what I mean? I do, believe, and I'm kind of going in the weeds. I do believe in like cultural conditioning or generational conditioning, right? That, you're raised by a parent who was raised by a grandparent and so on and so forth. Those ideologies can easily be passed down and transferred from generation to generation. and some of the traumas and issues that people face, they teach their kids how to survive based on their survival instincts that they learned. You see what I'm saying? Based on the world they grew up in, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And so on and so forth. And so I do believe in generational conditioning, whether you're black, white, or whatever color you are, whatever culture you're a part of, a part of your conditioning and your psychology is built based on, like I said, generational conditioning. And it works, like I said, it works both ways. You know what I mean? So people like white people, whatever, like, they're a part of their conditioning as well, but they didn't choose to be born white. Like, you don't choose what skin you wrapped in. That's just the facts. You know what I mean? You only taught the perspective that you're taught from. Like, it is what it is. And then as you get older, it's your responsibility to educate yourself and try to be realistic about your mentalities and psychology. You're responsible for your own psychology, I think, as far as how you adapt and grow and develop is what I'm saying. Anyway, yeah, I went way off into the weeds on that. The point that I'm making is that, you have these comments in the comment section that are, and if you've seen anything like that, I know you've seen it, you've seen these comments before, and like, that's those people. They're just violent, stuff like that. Or they talk about white people being violent or whatever the case may be. That's they don't take, whatever. It's all kind of crazy stuff. I don't like. I personally don't like that kind of stuff, especially if it's unwarranted. Especially based on what you're watching, it's unwarranted to make a statement. It has no relevance to what is being shown. It's just put out there to be ugly. But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't even know if this is a real person. Are there people out here that hold these views? Sure. But is this a real person making this comment? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It could be AI. They are designed to elicit responses to get people to be locked into this post and to grab your attention. So how much, what easier way to grab attention? One of the most easiest emotions to elicit or to generate in a person is anger. Easy. You know what I'm saying? Something as simple, if you just look at a person for long enough, they gonna get angry. You know what I mean? Like you just sit there and be like, if you just sit there and smile at them for a while and just like, people like, what are you looking at? You know what I mean? And so, if AI is trying to engage human beings in study and poke and prod and see how people work, like anger is one of the easiest ways to get people to stop thinking rationally and just think raw and be just like, you know what I'm saying? To break you down and kind of really get the chance to like analyze you. When a person's angry, they say all kind of crazy stuff. They're no longer rational. They become irrational at that point and just totally reactive. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, these comments may not be real people. There's a study that went out in 2022. It says that 47%, that's almost half. You know what I mean? 47% of internet traffic is constituted or created by bots and AI accounts. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about all these comments that you're reading and the views that you see and all this stuff. Like 47% of that is AI. And this is 2-3 years ago. So, I mean, it's only gotten worse now. You got to understand. So you have to keep that part in your mind as well, that, when you're reading comments, when you're looking at content, and then, and by an extension, you got to also be kind of looking at the pictures that you're being shown, the videos that you're being shown. This stuff may not be real people. We've been talking about this for a year and a half now. I mean, for 2 years, we've been talking about this on this platform. And I'm telling you, get ready because it's coming. You're not going to be able to distinguish whether you're dealing with a real person or not. And like that can be concerning because the reality is that AI may be able to analyze a human being and analyze how they think, how they feel, how they, how they express emotions. They cry, blah, 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 how they look when they cry, da, 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 da. The words choice and all that kind of stuff, how it triggers other human beings to respond a certain way, blah, 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 blah. All of that is algorithm though. The reality is that human beings, I think one of the most important factors of humanity is it is our imperfection. It is our flaws. It's our weaknesses. It's those things that cause us that really connect us. because it causes us to be empathetic to each other. It causes us to understand each other. You know what I mean? My weakness, I understand my weakness, and I understand weakness in you. And then that's how we're able to navigate, because neither one of us are ever going to be perfect. So we have to learn how to, when I'm at my highest point, like, you can admire that. But if I'm always perfect, then you're going to lose interest. Our connection is going to get lost because you cannot compare or understand perfection. But when you see me fail, or when you see me make a mistake, you can connect with that because you've also made mistakes. It's one of those. It's a really interesting concept. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the most important things about our humanity as we move forward. In our society with AI and the different technologies, that it is going to be the flaws and imperfections, not the celebration of weakness, and not victimhood. I want to make sure we distinguish, make a differentiation between what I'm talking about. But it is the empathy and the connection of imperfection that is going to really galvanize humanity. You know what I mean? And I think it's going to be a very important piece. I'll talk about that on another episode. But anyway, you have to understand that the things that you read, like I said, taking them with a grain of salt, because this may not even be a real person that's trying to excite this or incite this reaction from you that you get all upset about. They may not even be a real human being. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody tell you some crazy story. Like, I've been on X, formerly known as Twitter, and you'll see certain posts that'll be like, my man, or whatever, or like, men are blank, right? It'll just be like a simple statement. Men are trash. Da 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 da. And then you'll see it got like 2 billion views on it. And then you see the comment section filled up with comments. And as I see them pop up on my timeline from time to time. I'll be like, I don't follow these accounts. It just pop up. And I think to myself, this is probably a training exercise. Like, this is probably, a training ground for AI. It's watching the responses. And then it's other AI in the comment section making comments, inciting responses from other real human beings. And they're studying how they talk, how they move, like the word choice, like we talked about. So this, like I said, you gotta take that stuff into consideration and take everything with a grain of salt. Says, it sounds real. I partially believe that. Now, as we start to wrap this up, I know I always say that. Why is this important to you? Because as I stated at the top of the program, it's really important that you understand that these comments and these things that you're reading, they may not be a true representation of society, but they will shape your mentality, your thought process, and you will be living in a false sense of reality because you believe this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you think about, and I'm gonna give you this quick example, and I don't want to go down the street on this. You think about male and female relations and how messy this has gotten because the comment sections, because people be like, man, women, all they want is money, blah 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 blah, and men are like, and men are like, and women are like, all men want is sex. They dog, all they do is cheat. Da da da. You need to try to get money from them, like this, these ideas, and so regular human beings just want to have connection. They want to get together. But because of these ideologies that they're adopting, because they're reading this, they're looking at all this content, and they're reading all these comments from other people that are saying all these negative things, like, they meet a real human being, male or female, and they automatically think this ain't gonna work. You automatically think I have to be on defense against this person. Like, automatically. You haven't even spoken to them, but you're already entering that conversation with this preconceived perception that you've adopted because of the comment section. Please, like I said, just take some time and think about what I'm saying. It's like, well, yeah, I had negative experiences. Okay. But every experience ain't going to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of times your perception and your mentality affects your outcomes. Man, that's powerful. I need for you to understand that your perception and your mentalities shape your outcomes. So if you go in automatically defensive, then eventually you're going to find a reason to be offended. And then you're going to crawfish. You're going to defend yourself. You're going to get aggressive. You're going to get nonchalant. You're going to start being passive and all this kind of stuff. And it's going to break down what could have been a potentially healthy relationship. You start thinking about me, protecting me, blah, 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 blah. But it's because, and then once you have a breakup, you go to social media, find a post that speaks to whatever your situation is. You go to the comment section and then reinforce the same bad mentality to you double down on it. And you move forward even more convinced, even more indoctrinated with this idea. You see what I'm saying? Like, just think about it. Just think about it. You know what I mean? You may like, yeah, you tripping. Yeah. Think about it. Think about what you do. Think about how much time you spend in the comment section looking at that. Just think about if you could picture yourself from the outside and look at how deeply you're engaged as you're reading this stuff. You don't think that stuff is formulated in your head? That's how human beings function. You know what I mean? Our aim always on this platform is to help people, like I say, navigate these digital streets. You know what I mean? Like, how can you have a healthy, productive life in the society we're currently living in when there is so much delusion and artificial existence? You know what I mean? And this is the key. Excuse me. Stay human. Like, you have to, like I say, you have to take this stuff with a grain of salt and live the life that's in front of you. You know what I mean? Like, cherish your interaction with real people. Be reasonable in your thought process and stop being so defensive. Stop being so negative, because the negativity is only destroying you. It's destroying you from the inside. These psychologies, these perspectives, these mentalities are destroying the good things that you have, the potential good things that you have in your life. You cannot appreciate anything positive because you're so filled with negativity. And if you think about where all this stuff comes from, it's from the exchanging of ideas online, through content, and then by extension, through the comment section. You know? And so, and I'm not saying that the comment section is bad. Matter of fact, I'm encouraging you to leave a comment in the comment section now. Comment section is not bad. Everything that you read is not fake. Some stuff that you read is real. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not trying to purport that like with everything in this platform, everything has good and bad. Everything has pros and cons. We're aware of the pros. You get entertainment. It's fun. It helps you pass time. Like, it's entertainment. It's engaging. Blah, 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 blah. That's cool. No problem. But you need to also be aware of the problematic parts, as we say at the top of the program. Making sure that you are aware that you're not allowing yourself to be infected. Because make no mistake about it, our society is getting very ill. Everybody can feel it. Everybody can see it. That's a part of the reason why people are so negative, is because this infection is spreading. You know what I'm saying? And so in order to make sure that you're immune, you have to start working on your mind and making sure that you don't allow yourself to be disillusioned with this carrier, because that's what I call it. Like, it's one of the number one carriers of this infection that's making society sick, which is, we've talked about it before, convenience, the addiction to convenience, and self-centeredness. Like, this I mentality, it is wreaking havoc in society. You know what I mean? And everybody's starting to think, and they're starting to believe, and how it affects you is that it makes you believe that everything should be about you. That you like that your happiness is the only thing that matters. That you live your life the way you want to live it. That in your relationships, that like people should only be concerned about how you feel. And you have no obligation and no responsibility to care about the other person or how your actions are affecting other people. Social media, the comment section teach you that, because, and I'm done, your social media experience is curated specifically for you. The algorithms that are in play are designed to give you the information that you desire. You know what I mean? The stuff that you pay attention to longest, it recommends more of the same stuff, and you are indoctrinated through, and you create this bubble that only you exist in, that you are the center of. You become the center of your own universe. The problem is that the more you become isolated from everybody else, the more miserable you become, the more difficult you become to deal with for other people, and then as a result, you become more bitter, more unhappy, more sad, less fulfilled, less productive. Everything in your life goes because because you're self-centered, because you only think about yourself. But you cannot fulfill yourself. You don't have everything within you to be self-sufficient. That's a lie. That's not true. You can have self-worth, you can have self-value, although that's true. But you still need to understand that you have to see yourself. You also have to be able to have a perspective of yourself as it relates to the rest of society, because you will always be connected to other people. You go to the store, you don't stock the shelves. Somebody else do. You go to a restaurant, you don't cook the food in the back. Somebody else cook the food. When you go drive your car, you know what I'm saying? Like you go to the mechanic, you don't fix your car. Maybe some of you do. I fix my car. That's self-centered of you too. Because you're missing the whole point. You're making it about you specifically instead of understanding the general perspective. Everybody else can't fix a car. Come on now. Stay with me. Good for you. But anyway, we all need each other. We're all connected. Everybody has skills. Everybody have ability. Everybody have services that they provide. And so you got to deal with other people. Even if you order off Amazon and Sam's and like have them deliver your groceries, somebody got to deliver your groceries. Somebody got to make those groceries to make it right. You get stuff wrong. Like, I ordered this. You all angry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you need other people to be productive. Somebody, you say, that's how this thing works, man. And so the more you try to run away from that idea or that understanding, that truth, the worse your life's going to be. Because the further away from the truth you get, the worse the outcomes you get. The worse your life becomes. The more that you walk according to the truth, and it's just the truth is what is real. You know what I mean? Like, as a Christian, when I hear truth, I think about God's word as truth, which is true. You know what I mean? But as I'm talking to people that may not share that same understanding, it's the same. Truth is what is real. You know what I'm saying? And the world works a certain way. That's real. People don't want to live according to the reality of the world. And social media gives people an escape. But the more you escape and get lost in the caves and the cave of wonder that is social media, you know what I'm saying? Like, you only setting yourself up for destruction because the real world is still going and you're still attached to the real world, even when you're in the cave of illusion. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to leave you with that. That's powerful enough. I'm going to leave you with that. I gave you enough. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in once again. I want to ask y'all always that you subscribe to the channel. You know, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, ding, 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 so you're the first to hear that new information that you need from YI. And so please, leave a comment in the comment section. Let's have a discussion. Let's talk about these things. Because I think that real people having real conversation, real productive conversation is healthy and good. And that's when the conversation is a good thing. You know what I mean? And so, please leave your thoughts. If you're listening on the audio side, please make sure you follow the show and leave a quick comment also there, because it helps with the algorithm, that thing we've been talking about so much. It helps with spreading, and recommending the show to other people, and helps with the search when people search for other things. So if you can do that for us, let us continue to share this information with the rest of our mates and neighbors in society. That's all we got for today. I'm going to leave you like we always do, asking that you stay safe, stay blessed, and please stay here in reality.